This is a short deck tech for Grixis metalcraft on Pauper. Um, this deck only has 16 artifacts, 12 artifact lands, and 4 prophetic prism. But it's okay. You don't really need to get to metalcraft until like turn 5 for the Bleak Coven vampires. The galvanic blast is early game good enough to kill most creatures that you want to kill, and playing Thoughtcast for 3 mana on turn 3 is okay. It's a bad divination at the early game, but late games it will really shine in late games. You can you can play it to dig for removals and play the removal immediately. You can Archaeomancer the Thoughtcast back and play the Thoughtcast on the same turn. So it's worth it. Because otherwise you should probably change it to preordain or something, ponder. Um So the duress is so you can resolve your Thoughtcast or Ghostly Flicker, because that's important components of the deck. The Chainer's Edict is for hexproof, because your other removals can really interact with the hexproof decks. Doomblade, I really like Doomblade in this deck, but you can change it if you want. Maybe terminate or other removal, or other maybe other creatures, other draw spells. You can change it if you want. Reaping the Graves is for the mirror or the teachings deck or other grindimer deck. Maybe mono black. I like it against mono black. And Bleak Oven Vampires is the main win condition of this deck. Its enter the battlefield ability means that even if they have jump blockers, you can still win. You can still probably kill them with the triggers and a galvanic blast or two. Firebolt is against small decks like mono green, white Winnie, some delvers. Uh, galvanic blast is just good. You can finish the game with like two galvanic blasts to the face, and other a few Maldrifter hits, a Bleak Oven vampire trigger. Pillar of Flame, I like the Exile clause, though it haven't been really that useful in some games. But when it's useful, it's really good. But I can see changing it to bolts. Beetleback Chief is good against White Weenie, Goblins, Elves, Stompy. So it can keep parity on its own. Three blockers, or against removal heavy decks, it's three attackers. So it's really hard to get rid of. The lands, I like the configuration of the lands, but if you will change some of the cards, maybe you have to change the mana base too. But Prophetic Prism can probably save you the hassle for doing that. It's a This deck has one Mortuary Mire, which is really good for getting back Maldrifters or Archaeomancers. But if you're behind, you probably don't want to get back Beetleback Chief or Bleak Oven Vampires. You would rather draw removal or Thoughtcast into removal. So at the sideboard, there's two negates for mirrors, other control decks, mono red, Ghostly Flicker for other grindy decks, and probably also mono black, or also mono red. I mean, so you can flicker the Bleak Oven Vampires, you can flicker your gain one lands, and Bleak Oven Vampire anything grindy, and mono red. Electricity, I mean, most aggressive decks, it's good against most aggressive deck, and you'll probably know when you need it. Grudge and two smash against Affinity. I don't like using it in the mirror, because blowing up plans It's not really that effective against this deck because the games will be grindy and blowing up one land. It's not really that big of a deal because the games will be long and there are bounce lands. There's there's a lot of draw spells to draw into lands. Lightning against I like this against mono red against other control decks. I'm in the mirror. I'm not so sure. I'll probably bring it in the mirror, but I'm not sure if that's the correct choice. And in the mirror, Bujuka Bag and Relic is good. I mean, in other control decks too, special teachings. Against Mono Red, I usually like to bring in the Relic for a faster metalcraft for the Bleak Oven vampires, and I often remove so many cards that there will be a slot for the relic. But putting in the relic against mono red is this last choice. If you have enough sideboard cards for the mono red matchup, it's okay not to put in the relic. Hope this helps. Thank you.